There's a really clear teaching on daath. This is part of the DCP program. So this teaching should be eternal. Daath is about the throat chakra. The throat chakra is power. And the word. If your word means this much, that's the power you have. That's the power equivalency to your word. Try doing magic in life with this much power. My dragon spirit guide. He's the one on the cover of everything, and he's carrying the pearl, right? The pearl is dressed in these colors almost. Charlie barely likes to speak. He has talked maybe 50 times since I've known him. Lucifer talks to me 50 times a day. So, just to give you a frame of reference, in 5 years, 50 times. And Charlie will come up and say something, and it carries weight and gravity. When Charlie says something, it will move a mountain. It's something I also have to be very careful of, consciously. When Charlie has a warning, I need to heed it. When Charlie says, this is gonna suck, I need to, I want to say cower, but it's not cower. I need to withdraw in and be prepared for the long night or road ahead. So Charlie's word is a guiding light. And that's a spirit guide. A dragon. Something I can't even see. Clairvoyantly, yes, but if your word had that level of severity and meaning and substance, you would open your mouth and you would create something other than just yipping rhetoric. You would be available for the divine to express itself. Great prophets had that capacity. So, in the Raven Crow magic, I teach it, I say it as this: the less words you say, the more each word will matter. It's not the semantic equation of that. Really, it's the substance behind what you say. Because Lucifer says things and it matters. But it's not the same when Charlie says something. This was a gift Khaleesi or Daenerys had. She spoke very little, but the words she said created or destroyed empires. Know that. Your magic, your will, your intent can only have as much substance as you have. So if you intend to be wealthy, that intention has as much substance that is reflected in yourself. Normally, when we do the DCP, always when we do the DCP, the snakes and ladders, we find what we're lacking. For Gaebera, we did I'm not a good person, or something to that respect. I forget what we did. For Tiferet, we did I'm a demon troll. Or a demon muggle demon. We haven't done Hesed yet. We haven't even gotten the download. So we're doing daath first. I'm fluxing between the 2 points of I have no substance, and then fill that one in. But I already did that. So you guys might want to do it at home on your own. Homework. I have no voice or power. So that one probably should get filled in. Doing these snakes and ladders videos, it's what brings wholeness to your existence. Because we're filling in the void where you're lacking. I look at my intentions of where I'm failing to deliver. And it's because I'm lacking substance to follow through with the actions required. What an embarrassing way to live. Not for other people. Other people, there are very few people on the planet with substance. It's embarrassing to yourself. Because you're like, I want to do this, this, and this, and I have this goal, and then like none of it gets done 1 year later. All right. I have no voice or power. So you're going to get to the recesses of your fear or your belief in that. It should be in the middle of your bones. It's the part of you that feels this big. You find it. You're gonna have to go all the way to your root, where your genitals are. It's where you hold fear. And take a deep breath in. And you're going to let your tail unfold and lower. So it looks like a DNA chain going, falling deep into earth. Normally we go through the vertebrae. We'll bypass the tail vertebrae, the individual, but we'll weave it in. I have no power or voice. We're watching the tail spinal column drop down, and it will grow with wires. I have no power or voice. And it will dig and it will bury into your egg, into your temple or home, or into the earth. And it will root. And it will search. It will search for where you have power or voice in the earth. I'm being guided to the core of the earth and to anchor in there and weave the wires. And it says, my voice is saying, there's nowhere to go. Like there's nowhere to escape to. There's nowhere to run and hide. It's like being overweight. I've done this enough in my life. Being overweight, or like looking at my wrinkle. Things I don't like about myself. Okay. And hiding it, or hiding from it, instead of dealing with it or accepting it. When I realize there's nowhere to go, I'm kind of graced with the 12-step intelligence. God, give me the power to recognize what I can change and what I can't. Or what I shouldn't. Like my wrinkle. What am I going to do? Buy Botox? Spend $300 every 4 months just so I don't have a wrinkle year after year after year. What an insult to poor people. What an insult to a single mother raising a child. Just so I can fix the thing I don't like about myself. Like, and hide from it. I don't have a power or a voice. And then you feel it. You feel it start to grow in your root chakra and in the earth. Your power and your voice begin to manifest. So what we essentially did was create an anchor around the core so the power and the voice could grid through the planet. You're gonna need that if you're gonna be in like Ascended Master territory. The first time I did a little bit of this healing was with Fiona. She guided me to the raw emotion. I spent most of my life not being heard or listened to by anyone ever. It didn't matter if I was calculating eternal truths or like divine mathematics and coming up with legitimate answers. I could throw it into the face of anybody and literally not one person would listen. It's the same pattern today. I get knife raped for 5 months and not one person responds. That's not true. Kelly responded. And then the Tara did, and Freeman did, and one of my students, Chris, did, and Elaine did, and she baked me a pie, and then Stacy and I are doing the class. So like some people responded, but like no one else did. So when Fiona asked me what am I getting to, like, I told her in that space it just makes me want to yell at everybody. That doesn't really create intelligence, but it sure makes you feel better in the moment. I have no power or voice. This is one of my major problems with gurus, is that they put words and realities that are not in alignment with deep values of yours into your head and into your paradigm. And you're like, no. They shove things down your throat, which are like not even facts, like they are facts. And you're like, I need to vomit all of this up. Star would do that to me daily. It's a form of black magic. The ones that I hate the most are the timeline teachings. And when you know that they're not even doing it because they actually care about you, but because they just want to be more powerful and get off on being right. Instead of like this. This is a timeline for when your mate will show up. Here the tarot spread. Sorry. Like, I don't know what else to do about that. Stuff like that. I call people morons daily. There is a double teaching to it. It's like you need to have more lessons on this and more lessons on that and more lessons on that. So it's not really an insult, it's more just fact. So, and then there's the component where I don't take offense to the same teaching. So Lucifer will call me a moron, and it's the same deal. But it's different when you take somebody's power away. Okay, so that feels like Earth is gridding up nicely. Then we're going to see all the goo, our self empowerment. I have power goo going through the earth. I have a voice. All right, so we did the earth plane and the tail, but now we got to do our body. You have to get into your body now. And that's where mine is like, ugh. And I can feel it. It goes, I don't have power. I don't have a voice. I'm barely heard by my own mother. Like, my own mother barely wants to hear me. That's the reality. So I go into the body and I feel it in my bones. And maybe I try to open my bones up and let the wires crawl out of the bones. And then I let them crawl out of the bones in the back of my spine. I don't have power. I don't have a voice. And then it starts to grid around the planet. Like it's creating a telecommunications network. Like a net. Building myself up into the internet. Charlie says, much more sophisticated. But it's stuck on my right side, and I don't know why. I think my cup is full there. That's the part of me that goes, I do have power. What are you talking about? And so it's still in defense mode instead of like acceptance mode, where it leaves room for growth. sometimes when your body goes, I don't have power, it gets out of its own way and then it starts to develop it. I think this is where my ego's a little busted. It says, I don't want power. That's where my ego's busted. So it did a cup full thing. So I'm trying to see if the wires in those bones on the right side of my body are gonna grow. Start weaving into the intranet around the planet. So this is what collective consciousness is, and unity consciousness is my power is now starting to create the reality on the planet. Instead of being a bystander of everybody else's. It's sitting on the bench. That's what it's like when you're not an active co-creator and you're sitting on the bench watching it and going, and then I'm watching it go through my throat and through all the spinal vertebrae and through my right elbow and through my left elbow and through my right hands and my left hand, my right hand, not hands. And it starts to feel like, yeah, maybe I do have some power. So we got a good foundation on the planet. Now we make sure that around the planet is filled with the etheric marshmallow goo of you. Where you have power. That's moving all the energy through my body. There's still broken pieces of me, but last night I went through all the trauma and the emotional body from what's happened for the last 5 months. So if I look like I'm half asleep or half dead or half Asian, it's because of that. I've always thought of myself as half Asian, and I don't mean to be offensive to any Asian person ever. I've had a very strong affinity with the East, like most people in Southern California. But I was conceived in Okinawa, Japan. My parents lived there. And so there was always this draw. Like maybe I reincarnated from a soul that was hanging out in Japan and then attached to the parents and then was brought to California. I'm pretty sure that's what happened. But I went into an Oriental supermarket yesterday and I was like, I strangely feel at home here. I would have done much better in Japan or in the East somewhere than in London. There's just a silent reverence and a deeper level of respect amongst people in those cultures than in America or London. All right. Now for the final topping it off. It makes it feel like a cupcake swirl. All the DNA above you rolls up into the heavens, or at least to the top of one of your big eggs. I don't have power or a voice. Now, these tentacles, these wiry tentacles, will grow around the earth, but maybe they'll start heading off to the moon or to Mars. Maybe they'll head off towards the sun, or maybe an entire new galaxy, and start to weave in. These are places your soul likes to connect to or inhabit. Maybe you're responsible for gridding up those places. Kelly and I. Maybe you have 8th or 9th house next to work. But if you're going to do other galaxies, make sure to get a good ring around the Milky Way galaxy. So you need a proper grid just in the galaxy you're currently residing in. You know, when people say, "What planet are you living on?" It's like it's the people that are connecting to other galaxies, and you're or maybe this one, but like not connecting to this galaxy or this planet either. Usually schizophrenic individuals have this issue, and they have a strong connection to Earth 0, and that's why they can't like have a conversation in the air and then another conversation to a human with control. So their galactic module and their intergalactic module and their Earth module are twisted and broken and kinked in a weird way. I have no power or voice. You're gonna start seeing the lilac-y goo. It's lilac-y for a reason. And maybe it starts to feel really good. Even so, like you're connected into the earth, okay? Into like root territory. You're connected in your body and in your higher world crown chakra, and you're like, yeah, I have power. But it's not like, yeah, I have power. It's more like whole. I got power. Or it's kind of fun. And it coats the earth in the lilac-y goo also. It might even grow towards new galaxies that you may or may not want to grid up. Or planets or stars. So when you start the real work, the real book work, you can come to Kelly and I. We have to create the eggs for the star systems and do all the we have to do way more than that, believe me. So when you start doing the Hayot work, let's say you're like, yeah, I'm on top of all this seraphim stuff. Yo, you want me to throw you a new ball to juggle? Here, grid up 10 planets. I've already done 8 dragons. I have all the pages done for them too. So I have 800 pages done. Okay. Grid this up. Oh, we have karma prison grids we need to get done too. Those need to be done first. So, don't worry, there's plenty of work to get done. Like, there's an endless amount of sit-ups and push-ups to do in life, you know, that it's better when you spread it out evenly and then go in for the long haul. And that's what Kelly and I are learning how to do. So we don't get burnout. And then like, yeah, I have an 8-pack abs today. And then 6 months later, it's all gone. Nothing left. So that. All right. Yeah, I've got power. You should do the I need substance or I have no substance. Maybe in a week or two. We'll see. Collie Run out.